Hello, just thought I'd make a quick video, a video on the poem that I made the other day. Um, I just sort of thought, one of the reasons why I created this YouTube channel was to document my journey. So this is part of it, and I'm going to sort of talk through the poem, why I wrote it, how I wrote it, the whole process behind it, because I know that there's some stuff that I'm going to say that could help other people as well, and it is of some value to you guys. So, in terms of the actual poem, I had the idea for it back in spring, um, at least, like maybe around April, May. Um, and that was the first line in the poem. I think it's time to go now. That's the only idea that I had. Um, but then I didn't know what else to do with it, and like you can see here, I've got all these different drafts of it, and they're completely different. So for example, I've used this was my first draft. This here, it's even a complete different title. I don't like this one anymore. Second line, complete different, didn't like it. Started again at another time, did that, didn't like it. So I scrapped that as well, and it was actually on World Suicide Prevention Day, where I thought, you know what, I could finish that poem today, just because I know a lot more people are going to be thinking about it. So it was sort of that, oh my god, today is the only World Suicide Prevention Day for another year at least. I'm gonna have to finish this today. So that was sort of my motivation, just to get it done. And for months I just sort of stuck with this idea. I made notes in my phone as well. I stuck with this idea of making this poem. And then I eventually managed to get it done when I needed to. So I mean, one of the things that I learned there was, in terms of creativity, when you're writing and creating, it doesn't always happen in one creative burst. If you have an idea, make note of it at least first, and just stick with it. Like, I've made notes for stuff like 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm coming across them and I'm like, wow, that's a really good idea. But I forgot them. But I remember them when I look at the notes. So it's a good idea just to do that and stick to the ideas that you have, and be patient with them if you genuinely believe that it's going to be good. So I mean, yeah, like the poem took quite. I mean, I wrote it in like a couple of hours, but the whole journey, the whole process was pretty long actually. One thing that actually did help me when I was writing it was when I asked for your guys' opinions on Instagram, because I asked you guys, how do you feel about suicide? Describe it. And I got some good responses, and so like I'll read some of them out to you. Was like loss of self-esteem, painful experience, can't do life anymore was a big one. The ending of pain, retiring from life, I got that from someone. Pain that never fades, sorrow, all this stuff. I tried to incorporate as much of that as possible, and it wasn't just me asking you just because I'm lazy and I can't think and I don't know what to say. It's because if it's coming from you, then you're projecting your feelings into this idea. So when you hear all of this together and you hear the thought that you put into it, you're like, oh crap, yeah, I feel that. Because the thoughts all coming from people, and people are very similar a lot of the time. Like especially when it comes to a lot of this stuff, it's very very similar. And as you can tell from the responses that I got and the messages that I got, a lot of people feel the same. This whole mental illness is a thing for like just a minority of people, and only a minority of people have suicidal thoughts. it's a lie. All of these statistics that we get, it's a lie. Um, like this, the stats only show you what's officially written down, but most people are not going to go get their health checked. It's scary. I genuinely think most people have gone through some sort of mental illness, mental health disorder. Obviously, the most common being um, anxiety, depression. I'm not ignoring any of the others. They're just the two that I know the most about. Um, but I genuinely think that most people have some sort of experience with it, and that's what I wanted to see as well. Like a lot of people felt a strong connection to it and were touched by it. So, moral of the story, we shouldn't be afraid to. I know I'm not one to talk really, because I am too. I've improved a lot, but it is scary. But we shouldn't be afraid to talk to other people because it's very, very normal. The conversation has started now. We've started this conversation about mental health and suicide and suicidal thoughts, all this stuff. Conversation has started. It's up to all of us as a group to keep that conversation going. It's a conversation that needs to be had and it can't stop because the way that I think of, I'm going off on such a tangent. The way that I think about it is that like it's such a secretive and hidden thing that nobody really wants to talk about it. It's so personal. People hold on to it so tightly, and it's you're holding on to it that hurts so much as well. Because no, it's my burden to carry. I can't share it with anyone. Can't tell anybody, and then you end up breaking down to your therapist when you eventually do go to one. Maybe, or you just end up imploding. I get it. It's not clever though. Um, I'm not lecturing. This is not even a lecture. I'm cussing myself on this one. Um, but it needs to become a normal conversation. Just how you say stuff like, "Oh, I have a cold. I have this. I have the flu. I broke my leg." It's an illness. You can talk about it. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Yeah, I mean, you get what I mean. Cool. Um, all right, all right. In terms of the actual poem, now I'm gonna go through every line, verse. I was gonna say paragraph, and I'll explain why I wrote each thing. Um, so this I've already said that the first line is I think it's time to go now. Um, that's the only idea that I had, and that's the one that I wanted to stick with, because that I mean like that's sort of what you think, isn't it? Like, shit, I don't want to be here. I want to go. Like, I just want to end this. I just gotta go. So that had to be the sort of defining point of the poem, at least the first part of the poem. And the next one is then I go into saying I'm not allowed self-worth. So what kind of helped me was thinking from the perspective of a teenager. Obviously, a lot of people feel like this, but from my personal experience, teenagers feel this a lot. Like, I'm getting bullied in school, my parents don't treat me right, nobody understands me. I want to have a level of self love and self worth for myself, but judging from how I get treated, I just can't have that. That's sort of how teenagers feel, and the next line carries on in that I got no self esteem. Um, yeah, that's as a result of how everybody's treating me. If you think about it, a lot of you guys can relate. A lot of you guys can relate to this. How your teenage life was, how your life was growing up. You sort of get like hammered down a lot. I didn't. Um, I got good parents. I'm grateful. But I have experience in school and stuff. Like, I got bullied most of my school life, like 10 years at least. So I know what it feels like to just get hammered down all the time. and just to feel like you don't love yourself and you got no self-esteem. So it's a very, very relatable thing. Nobody talks about it, but I think most people have some sort of experience with it. And then because of that, I said, I keep wondering how and why it hurts. I mean, at that age, a lot of people realize that I'm going through something. I just don't know what it is. So I'm hurting. I'm feeling very, very different. I don't know why. It's really, really messing with me. Like, I don't know why I want to hurt myself. I don't know why I'm breathing so fast and having these sort of attacks. So like it's like a state of confusion and despair kind of thing. That's why I said after as well, so much I just want to scream. You don't get it. Like, that's what you're thinking to yourself. I don't understand anything that's happening right now. I just want to scream and pull my hair out and scream into my pillow and punch everything and become violent and aggressive. So if you see a violent teenager or a violent young guy, look into it. There's probably more empathy. Second verse starts with see, I think it's time to go, like sort of like confirming it. Yeah, it's probably is time to just this chapter is over. I heard this okay, main reason why I said that line is because I saw an Instagram post where this guy goes to his, or Twitter tweet, a tweet where the guy goes to his brother saying that, you know, he feels really suicidal and he wants to kill himself because he feels like the book is over and this chapter is over. And the older brother just goes to him, bitch, just write a sequel. I really like that. I mean, it's sort of taking the piss, but bitch, just write a sequel. Like, you are still in charge of your own life and decisions and what you do with what you have. But that's what you think though. Like, you feel like the chapter is over. And so the next line I got from, as I said, from one of the story responses. Someone says to me that one of their friends felt like, I can't do life anymore. And that's sort of how you feel, like, I don't have any other option. Like, it's over. I don't have anything. And I know a lot of you guys feel that way. I'm gonna talk to you. Just wait. I'm sick of this sorrow. I need to end this pain. Again, it's the same thing. Like, this is the only option that I have. I need to end this pain. That's why people cut. If for those of you who don't know, that's why people self-harm. That's a big part of it. Like, you feel so much pain here and there that you think, oh my god, I need something to distract me from all of this ish. So because then the pain is focused there and you're so distracted from all this. So if any of you have ever judged anyone for self-harming, evaluate it. I'm not gonna cuss you. I could. I'm not going to. But evaluate how you see that. Like, it's the response to it is not just, oh, don't cut then, what are you doing? Evaluate how you see it. I go on to say that the pain which never really fades, because that's how you feel again, and I need to release this burden off my shoulder, because so a lot of the time people will make you feel like you gotta do this for them, you gotta do that for them, and that's like the burden of your whole family and friends. Like, you know, when you're the nice guy, you're too nice. I don't like that word, but you feel like you're too nice. You sometimes feel like you have a burden on you from everybody else, and you got to carry everybody's shit with you. And like, for example, if your friends need stuff doing, if you have a parent that you feel like you need to care for, you sometimes make the mistake of carrying their burden on you when it's not yours to carry. Big mistake. Don't do that. It's not yours to carry. You got to work on you. Yes, I talk from experience. because I think the most selfless thing in the world is working on yourself and being selfish. I don't think they're two separate things. To be truly selfless, you have to be selfish, because if you think about a jug, one of my best friends said to me once that you can't pour from an empty jug, so you have to fill this and this before you can pour into other people. Like, you just have to. You just have to. It does not work any other way. And if you don't, it becomes draining, and then that's where you feel like, oh my god, I can't do this anymore. So, and that's actually, obviously, like, I've had a bit of a dip recently, but it's why I have been able to help so many people. So, like, it's not easy, but I can do it. Like, a lot of people, I'm not bragging, but a lot of people, and I don't feel their burden. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I can do it without feeling their burden. Like, all the care, all the empathy is there, but their problem is not my problem. So make yourself the most important person. That's the mistake that a lot of people make. Okay, so the next verse starts with, so it's time to go. Again, like, no, it doesn't. That's with the draft. Hold on. So yeah, the next one starts with, it is my only option. Again, that's what I've already said. Like, you feel like that's the only thing you can do. The next few lines are really, really interesting to me. It goes, I'm gonna fix things. I'll make them right. I'm gonna fix things and make them right. That's genuinely why people do it. Like, nobody would do that believing that it's not the right thing to do, and it's very hard sometimes to change that person's mind, because in their minds it's set like, this is actually going to make things better. Nobody values me. I'm not allowed any self-worth, so obviously nobody cares about me, so I'm gonna have to do it. Like, it makes sense. I'll be out of everybody's way. And like, I don't know what to tell you. If you're going through that right now, obviously I will tell you that you're wrong, and that there are people who love you and care about you, but my focus is on the people around you. If you know someone who's ever said that, fix your shit. Again, it's not your burden, but if you care about this individual, make them feel loved. That's all you have to do. Make people feel important and loved. Empathy. And then I carry on to say, I'm going to end this sort of mental fight, because again, it's like, it's a battle within your own head, saying that, you know, it is the best thing to do. No, it's not. Oh my God, what do I do? Pull in both sides. And I do this because that's where it hurts a lot of the time. It's relatable, I think. And again, that same idea, it'll be better off without me, and it'll bury this dark cloud that surrounds me, because you sometimes start to feel like you're the cause of every problem. That's not the case. That's simply not the case. It's just not. And I pray that you can actually believe me on that one. Like, you are not the cause of everybody's problems. Like, I don't know how else to say that to you. You're just not. You are a beautiful, amazing human being, and you have a lot of potential. And I can say this to a camera because I know a lot of people are going to see this, and I genuinely mean it for every single person. Almost none of you realize your true potential. And it makes me sad. I don't get sad a lot of the time, but it makes me sad. Like, you guys have so much potential and you don't realize it, and you're just gonna settle. That's a different topic. Okay, next verse. Next verse. I say, so it is time to go. Like, that's confirming it. Like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. Like, I think you heard the way that I said it in the poem as well. I'm gonna do it. That's sort of what's going through my head. The taste of bleach still lingers. Yeah. Oh. I have a friend who did that, and that person is all right, like still alive, kind of all right, but oh snap, that was personal. Um, and it's very like this whole, like, let me read this whole verse, right? The blood is running down my fingers. It's very visual and very scarily relatable, but it's very visual, and that's why I didn't record any video to it. Like, I'm gonna say it to you, and you're gonna relate it to your own things. That was very deliberate. It wasn't just lazy. I wanted to, but it for me, it was the best option to not record any video and put your own images in your own head. So I carried on saying, "This is my will. I've taken the pill. So yeah, I've taken the pills." Again, like, these are all ways to harm yourself and kill yourself, and it's scary to say that, but it's very visual, and it puts a bad taste in your mouth. Like, it doesn't feel nice. It didn't feel nice to say. It doesn't feel nice to hear, but you have to hear it. One of my whole points for the whole poem was so that you realize that yes, someone else understands, someone has had experience with it, but just to put that bad taste in your mouth deliberately when you think of suicide, to show you that it's not an option. I'm going to go into more in detail after that as well. After that, I said, so yeah, it's time. I'm retiring from life. Got that from someone else. I wouldn't have thought of that. The next verse starts with, fast forward 5 years. So obviously at this point, I don't, this is one of the biggest things that I wanted to talk about. I don't know if it was very obvious. The individual who's written this poem, obviously I've written it, but whoever it is in the grave at this point. That's why I said they still come to see me in tears. So people visiting, let's say, my grave, and they're still crying because I'd done something which I thought would be better for everybody, and it was just detrimental. And even still, people are crying so long after, and it's sad. She lays down the flowers and talks to me for hours. I don't know who she is. I don't know. It just sounded good to me. She could be your mom, your partner, your sister, your partner. I said that. But again, it just puts an image in your head, like that's what would happen, and you start to picture yourself at that point. Let's say you're looking up from your grave, or like your ghost is standing outside your grave, for example, and you're seeing this person that you love more than anything in the world, and after 5 years they're still visiting you, still 5 years is just an arbitrary time, but they're still visiting you, they're still crying, they're still laying down their flowers, and you still mean so much to them. That's what I wanted to get clear. After so long of you, after you passing, because you killed yourself, there's still people who are madly in love with you, care for you so much, but you're not there for them to actually physically show it. And at that point is why I said this last verse here. Now I see I was mistakenly escaping, breaking free of this harsh reality. So that's what's been going throughout my head throughout the whole poem. But now I see the result of my fallacy, or the inaccuracy of my fallacy is what I actually said. See, that's cold. That's regret. And we all know that regret is poison and it eats away at your heart and your mind and your soul and your body, and it hurts. But when you're living, you can fix that, because regret is only inside your head. So you have the power to fix that. When you're dead, you can't fix shit. It's actually too late. It's never too late until it's definitely too late. That when you're in the grave, it's definitely too late. And that's one thing that I need to make clear to everybody. Yeah. Don't do it. Just don't. It's just don't. It's really not worth it. Just stay. You you might not be aware of it yet, but what I wanted to say was you will regret it, and you can't fix it once you regret it, because it's damaging. And obviously I get it, but just don't. We'll see. One of the reasons, the main reason why I wrote this whole poem was to show you, to put that bad taste in your mouth, so that you associate suicide with something that is absolutely not an option and is filled with a lot of regret, and it's damaging, it's detrimental. And yes, it will end the pain for you, but it fucked up, man. So I get it, but just don't. I don't think there was anything else I wanted to say. But yeah, if you actually watch this whole video, respect to you, man. Respect. And I hope you saw some value in all of this. I enjoyed writing it, actually. Considering the topic, I enjoyed it, and I hope you liked it, and I hope you felt a sort of connection with it. And I'm working on new stuff, so subscribe.